The common challenge that we find across all four of those pillars, if you will, as far as public safety, as far as government services and educators and clergy, is unfortunately a pretty woeful lack of, and or at the most part, inconsistent approach in any kind of leadership training and development. What tends to happen, and I'll give you an example if you want to start, let's say, at public safety. Generally speaking, a police officer, for example, a young person decides they want to be a police officer, so they go to the academy. And in the academy, they are trained, but mostly from a standpoint of a tactical perspective and understanding what it's like to be in a paramilitary organization. They go into that department and they're put into an FTO program, a field training officer program. And the FTO programs have come a long way, and they're very well designed these days to really scrutinize what that individual is really bringing to the table or to the department beyond what they got at the academy. But the FTO program is designed to focus on, here's how we do business, here's what our expectations are, here's the way we approach this thing, that thing, or the other. Here's what the expectations of your interactions on a day-to-day basis are. Now, it does not focus on any aspect of leadership. And so it has to do with, well, here's who the leaders are, but not necessarily on your role as a leader. And therein lies part of the issue. That rookiest rookie coming out of the academy and going into that law enforcement organization, getting their shiny new uniform and badge and everything really looks good. As soon as they hit the streets, there is an expectation of leadership from them, from the public. However, they have yet to have given any real focus on leadership. What does it mean? What's your role as a leader in this community? Because I guarantee you, as a public safety individual, there is an expectation of leadership, and they're looked at as supposed leaders of the community. And so therein lies the core of why we do what we do. And that goes all the way up the chain. And if you follow this process throughout, and we'll stay in public safety here for just a second, if you follow that process throughout, that person, let's say you have an individual who's now gone through the FTO program, they're on the street, and they manage themselves very well. They manage themselves very well, and they meet tasks, and they meet numbers, if you will. They meet the goals of the organization. Well, they're identified as a good officer. And that good officer is then tapped to say, you know what? That person might be somebody we might want to look at for promotion. Well, ultimately, because that officer managed themselves very well and seemed to get the job done pretty well, we say, okay, I want to make you a sergeant. Well, that happens, and it happens quite a bit. Of course, a lot of the old guys tell me that in the old days, they just handed you the gold badge and the gun, and they said, go do it, you know? And it's not far from that today. It really isn't. We identify that officer that managed themselves very well. We then promote them into a supervisory position and say, here, go supervise. Well, once again, just like that rookie out of the academy didn't get any leadership training, and just like when they came into the FTO program, there wasn't a real focus on leadership roles or behaviors or competencies. So now we made them a sergeant, only because they managed themselves really well. Well, the transition is now they have to manage others. And so, but they haven't gotten any real preparation for that. So that's where we really have focused our attention on all of the competencies that are needed to turn that corner. We call them elbows, if you will, to actually make that elbow turn and be prepared to go into that next level.